Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet the co-founder of a company whose design is to make your front yard and your backyard your favorite rooms of the house. His incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
I love my home. I love the approach to the home, how majestic it looks, and I love our backyard. So many people are trying to sell their home, or they're looking to buy a home, and the front yard and the backyard just is not up to par. That's when they bring in somebody like my next guest, Jordan Winar. He's with Zion Outdoors. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's good to be here, Jeff. Thanks.
Well, I'm so thrilled to have you in because your attention to detail, and they're going to see your work in a minute. You're the co-founder of Zion. Tell us what Zion means.
So Zion Outdoors, people ask us all the time, are you from Utah? And we're not. Zion is a Hebrew word. You can find it in the Bible. It means kingdom of God or heaven on earth. And we believe when you step outside, that's where you can have your best experiences outdoors and maybe meet your creator.
Absolutely. And you've been in the business world for a long time. In fact, you built a very successful home services company. Talk about your work before Zion.
Before Zion, I was at an organization that I helped build from $10 million to $50 million. We served a lot of homeowners, over 20,000 in a decade. And there came a point in my career where I felt a little restless, and I didn't really understand what it was. I was talking to my wife, as any good married man would, and she told me to pray about it. So I did. A little nervous to do so, and after I did that, I got a call from one of my best friends who had just sold his company, and he was moving from Michigan to Houston, Texas. And he says, hey, come visit me. I went and visited him. He says, let's get breakfast with my brother. I said, sure, why not? And his brother says, hey, how are things? I said, they're perfectly fine. When I got home back to Austin after my visit to Houston, my wife asked how it went. I shared the story about Lael, my now partner, and she said, I think you might have an answer to prayer. And that's when things started to get serious and started considering starting my own business.
Wow. I'm so impressed with your work. We're going to show kind of a before and after video. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
The house was built in 2003, and when we bought the house in 2018, it was the same flagstone from the original build.
Previously, we had a rock water feature in this area, which was basically orange boulders, and it was fun. The kids loved it. They liked to jump from it, but it blocked the view, and it was very dated from kind of the look that we were going for. So we just decided to take that out, open up the view. I think they did a great job with just kind of finishing that out and making it look like it goes along with everything else. Railing that covered the area, and last minute we kind of decided to take that out and give it a more modern look, and we're so glad we did, because it is definitely more modern, and again, it also opens up the view that we have looking out.
I agree with Melissa. I think it added or complemented the view that we opened up from the waterfall. Now we have an additional view from the seats on our patio. And I have to say, out of all the major projects that I've been a part of, not only did this team do great work, they did great work on time. And the guys were just great to get along with. They were very accommodating to our daily lifestyle around the house. And like I said, they did quality work. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, the team was wonderful, and I would say, like, poor Jordan, we gave him this time frame all of a sudden of an event that we were having, and he made sure that everyone was here working all day long, and no corners cut and additional add-ons, and they just made it look wonderful.
Jordan, it impresses me that you're an artist. I mean, you're not going in there to cut corners and just give them, the cheapest product that you can create. You're really wanting them to be so wowed that they're telling all their friends. Talk about that.
Well, you just saw it in that video with Mark and Melissa. They're great folks, huge space, outdated, and was able to come in there and give them some recommendations. They believed in Zion early on, and very grateful for them. Their project turned out amazing. Love seeing them at the local bagel shop, and they've shared with their friends and neighbors about Zion as well. So very grateful for clients like that.
Outstanding. We're going to pull up the gallery page of your website, because as I was scrolling through it this morning preparing for the show, I was just blown away. I mean, your attention to detail. Do you have this gift of being able to visualize the product or the project before you even start?
I think the gift that God gave myself and other colleagues that I work with is we're able to see things that others can't see. And in addition, we have the luxury of being able to have products that are proprietary to Zion. So we've created an overlay product where you don't have to tear anything out. It's called Gemscape. It's great for pool decks, patios, walkways, and driveways. And another product that you saw in that video with Mark and Melissa, and it's called Capstone. And there's no tear out. You can go right on top of stone or concrete with natural travertine or marble, and it absolutely looks stunning.
Wow, and it can last for decades, I'm assuming.
You bet. Yeah, we have the longest warranty on our Gemscape product in the industry. And then our Capstone product, obviously it's getting quarried. Typically over in Turkey, we're having some issues at the port right now with things going on, but for the most part, that's going to last for decades.
We were talking before the show, Jordan, and you said that your faith plays a big role in your business. Can you share?
Sure. For Lael and I, as partners, I seek first the kingdom of God is important to us. And I think if you put God first in your life, in your business, and in your family, it makes a big difference, right? That's how Zion got started. It started with prayer and my wife telling me to try that out, and I did. And God, I believe, honored that. And then Lael and I would start our meetings on Friday morning with prayer. And we continue to seek first the kingdom of God and stay on that path as best as we can.
Well, and something else that is near and dear to your heart is veterans. Tell us the backstory.
The backstory is essentially what we do for a living, and that's hardscape. So anything you can walk on, and it starts with the family. So if you do a hardscape project, a patio, a pool deck at your house, or even a walkway, that's where your guests are going to come down and visit you at your home. It starts with family. It starts with those relationships. And then who else is going to walk down that walkway or visit your pool deck or patio? It's going to be your neighbors. So we always like to say family first and then your community. And we wanted to give back. And it reminded me of our country, because this story comes into play when I was coaching Little League Baseball and was running a successful company. And we got our teams and everybody showed up, and they're eight years old, and we're trying to really teach them about the game of baseball, and we're trying to give them a little bit of character development as well. And there was one particular little boy I'll remember, short and stout, wasn't afraid of a fastball from his coach. Always at the end of practice would come up to me, shake my hand, look me straight in the eye, and I always wanted to say, this kid is really sharp, and I want to tell his dad as much as dad traveled for work, and his mom always dropped him off. Come to find out, after the fact, one of my coaches said, hey, his dad isn't here because he actually was killed in combat. So it's something near and dear to my heart that was convicting to me, because as a dad, you want to be able to teach your kids, and I have 3 of them, and Lael has 6 of them. So between the 2 of us, we have 9 kids, and you want to pass the torch, right? And it goes from the country of somebody making an ultimate sacrifice back to your community of helping out, and then back to your family. And I was able to share that story, and now with the creation of Walkways for Warriors, we're able to give back to the community.
And we're going to show a video here in a second, but I want you to talk more about what is Walkways for Warriors.
Walkways for Warriors is a foundation that we started at Zion Outdoors. It was a culmination of the whole team. And why we chose Walkways for Warriors, me personally, I was very interested in doing that because I come from a family of veterans. My grandfather was in the Air Force. I've had uncles in the Air Force and the Army, teach at the Air Force Academy. My great uncle passed away in World War II. My mother-in-law's brother passed away in Vietnam. And the story is deep. Now, what really hit me is when that young boy, who it was personal to me, right? You hear these stories of people giving the ultimate sacrifice during a war, but when it really hits is when you know somebody and you know them personally and you know that they're affected. And that's why we started Walkways for Warriors. We decided that for every 100 projects that Zion completes, we're going to give a walkway to a veteran. There's 23 million veterans in America. There's 300 million or so Americans. So you have to think somewhere on your street, if you have 10 houses, somebody's a veteran. And you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their story is. And we created this not knowing what would happen. And the very first story that came about is, in my opinion, pretty incredible, and I think God ordained.
Outstanding. Let's go ahead and roll that video.
It's our first Walkways for Warriors, man. This is a big deal. I'm excited. He thinks we're coming back to just ask him a few more questions, so he has no idea he's won. Man, this is a big day for Zion. This is a big day for Steve and his family. I couldn't be more proud of what we're doing today.
Ramps up there for his daughter. Rainy day, but we're about to deliver some good news.
Oh, we are about to deliver some fantastic news. What initially, inspired you to apply for this Walkways for Warriors?
Well, I was getting bids to get the walkway done, and the person that gave me a bid was very, very high. And then he called me, he sent me a note back and said he had a friend that was doing this, would I be interested? Because he knew I was a veteran.
Sure.
It was something for being a veteran. So I said, hey, something I'll look into.
Awesome. And Steve, if you were to win this, how does it change your guys' life? What does it do for you guys?
It really changes my daughter's life because she is not able to get out without help. And you see the ramps.
I do, yeah.
Very, very steep,
yeah.
Very dangerous if somebody else is taking her out. I know how to get her out. And
yeah.
This will give her opportunity to go out. We can go, when we walk the dog, she can go with us. She can get out and do whatever she needs. So it would really make a big difference for us.
Awesome. Well, hey, Steve, I just got one last question, man. How does it feel to be the winner?
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're a winner of our Walkways for Warriors. We couldn't be more excited and proud.
Me either.
Thanks for doing it, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for applying.
You guys are wonderful.
Yeah, we're excited to let you be the winner.
Yes.
We're just excited for you, man.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm super excited for these guys. These are great people. It's just an honor to be able to give back to our community for those that, put their life on the line for our country. And, his story is really, just an incredible story of his daughter and taking her in. She put her two kids through college. She then got MS and she got put in a really bad spot. Her parents took her in. This is going to make her life just way more enjoyable, where she can get in and out of the house without having to wait for somebody to help her. She works from home. She's not asking for a handout, and we were just able to do something that is going to just put a light, a shiny day, a shiny part of her day, where she can actually just go outside and see the beautiful sunshine with nobody having to help her get outside. So we just couldn't be more excited.
So I'm watching Jordan watching this video, and he's getting a little misty. So what's going on in your heart? Why is this so personal?
Well, the client in this case, or the recipient, is Steve, but the bigger picture of that is the bigger guy in that video is Gary, and I love that guy. He's a salesman at Zion. He's a founding member and grew up with no dad. And the unique thing about this story is how it touched him and how he has really taken on Walkways for Warriors as his own. At Zion Outdoors, everybody at Zion has done that. And then you have the story of Steve. So you have this big guy, Gary, at the front door with Steve. He doesn't know if he's going to win. He submitted his Walkways for Warriors from a competitor of all places. And Steve was in the Air Force back in the day, had no idea that he would apply for Walkways for Warriors, had no idea they did have a daughter that was disabled with multiple sclerosis, right, and wheelchair bound. And she got dealt a bad deck of cards, and she was left by her husband, had to put her two boys through school, and then Steve took her in. And we're in this incredible place where this guy made a sacrifice to represent his country, to protect people like Gary and myself. And his daughter probably learned from Steve to not give up when you're down, and we're able to be a part of that. So we're able to give this walkway to Steve and his family and sacrifice just a little bit of our profits for them to enjoy this, so she can go outside and walk her dog without getting help from her dad, who's getting a little bit older. So those stories make a difference.
Wow. Jordan, you inspire me. We have a couple of minutes left, so final thoughts or favorite client story you'd like to share?
I don't know if it's a favorite client story. I'd say it's a personal story for me of where Zion Outdoors was really born, and it's probably just being outdoors on a back patio in Ohio where I grew up. And I'd sit there with my dad on a Saturday after I mowed the lawn with my grandfather and my brother. And we learned how to become men. We learned how to, on that back patio, grill hot dogs and hamburgers. We learned about business. We learned about working hard. We learned about not giving up. We learned about the wars that are going on. We learned about the stock market just from hearing my grandfather and dad talk about it. And now I get to do that. I get to build patios for families, help the community, veterans like my grandfather who I'd sit with at that picnic table, and make a difference in our communities, in our family, in our country.
Wow, Jordan, I can see why you're so wildly successful. It's been an honor to have you on my show. We're going to end with his website, which is, of course, zionoutdoors.com, the great Jordan Winar. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.